welcome to Product Print Business Stalkford YouTube channel. This is going to be a very short tutorial or guidance on exporting your artwork for print. Hopefully you found this setup guide useful and your artwork is perfect now. Right, let's see. I've prepped some bits first because it'll make it easier. We were going to InDesign first. Here you have your beautiful artwork for letterhead in this case. So you've set this all up. We're going to run you through how to send it to print and be sure you're going to get what you're after. First thing to check is, do you have your bleed on this? You can see, if you used our setup guide, you'll understand the bleed. If you didn't watch that, I do advise having a quick look at that because it really will help make sure everything is correct. So you can see we have 3mm bleed all the way around this, where certain things bleed off. Okay, and the other thing to do is, once you're happy, is save your artwork. Save your artwork, in this case InDesign, so that you've got a copy of it, so that you can go back, edit it, etc. The other thing to do at this stage is to check it again. I'm sure you've checked it loads of times. Check it once more. At the moment, you have one digital artwork. In a few days' time, you're going to have thousands of them. It's more disappointing to have thousands of mistakes than it is to have one. So check it all over. Check your spelling, check the colours as you want, check it looks like how you want it to look. Just one more final check. The other thing to check now is the colours. It's the colours. How many colours? At this particular letterhead, we've got two colours on here. Now, if you're using colours, find out how it's being printed. Find out whether we are going to digitally print it, whether it's going to be lithographically printed or any other method. Just check. If 9 times out of 10 it'll be printed these days in a 4-colour process. So all the colours will be made out of 4 colours: cyan, magenta, yellow and black. If it's litho, you're going to need Pantone colours on there. We can guide you through that if we needed, but more often than not we'll assume that this is 4 colour. So in this case we can check this on ours with I have this little bit down here, which is a separations preview. So it looks like here's the colours we said, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, but we've also got this little rogue colour here. So one of these colours has been set up incorrectly. So I can show you what will happen there is, if they just print the cyan, magenta and yellow, all these bits are not going to print because they've been set up as a Pantone colour. I mocked this up to prove a point. So you can see you have an extra colour in there. That's no good. You've now got 5 colours. Can't be done, or can be done at a cost. You don't need to. So in this case you can see, find your swatches, mine are over here. You can see here is a colour. This colour here is part of the CMYK because it's got a little square. If it's a spot colour, it has, believe it or not, a little spot in the icon. Double click on it, you can see colour type spot. We need that to be changed to process. That's okay. That will only apply if a colour has been set up incorrectly or has been bought in for another application. Otherwise, most of the colours you should find in your colour swatches should be 4 colour. So now you can see we have 4 colours only. So when we take these off, you can see the way the colours built up when it's printed. Okay, that's that all done. Brilliant stuff. Let's set that down. So we've checked it all. We've checked the colours, and what we want to do now is save a version that can print. In InDesign, go to File, and then there's Adobe PDF Presets is the easiest thing. So you can see I've set my own up in here, but you can see what it's based on is ultimately PDF X1A. So in InDesign we would suggest you save it as PDF X1A. The reason being, it's like a flattening process, and it's an industry standard for printing. It causes the least problems and should give you the most consistent results. So when that comes up, what we would do, or what I would suggest doing, is on your desktop make another version, or wherever you prefer to save it, make a new folder and call it printing for Product Print, or wherever else you may be sending it. Create that, and in this case any particular name you might want to call it, whatever. So this is the PDF, okay? So we do that and click Save. Up here, just double check it's X1A. It should be X1A 2001. All the settings in general should be okay. Basically, just check that all your pages are applied there, because if you have more than one page, it's only a letter head, so it doesn't count. But if it was a brochure or something like that, you'd have more than one, and it's very easy to leave this clicked and find out you haven't sent all the pages. So just double check it's all the pages, or the pages that you just needed. Everything else here you can leave as is. View PDF just means it'll ping up the PDF onto the screen after you've created it. Compression, leave those as they are. These all set. Marks and bleeds. In here, what you want to do is make sure you tick crop marks, and it's useful to have page information. Some people like the colour bars on. Some people ask you to remove them. So for us, I would say leave them off. Registration marks can be useful. They provide little tiny targets on the outside of the brochure which enable the printer to line up the different plates if it's going to be printed that way. So useful to have, so why not put them on there? The other thing to make sure is you click Use Document Bleed, and you can see just about underneath there it's using the default values that we set up when we set up our artwork correctly, because you viewed our other video. In output, you could leave this as it is. If possible, change this to Euroscale coated. It's not strictly going to be correct in all circumstances, but if everybody keeps picking Euroscale coated, we'll get consistent colours across. It may be an uncoated paper you're using, but let's not get too deep. Let's just assume that Euroscale coated is good enough for what we need and will provide consistent colour results. In advanced, don't worry about anything there. Security, don't put anything in there. This should be greyed out because we use this X1A, and a summary will just give you a quick rundown. So briefly to recap, this is the important section: crop marks, registration marks, page information, and bleed. And then literally export. And you can see there's our PDF with the file name we called. You can see the bleed is going into these are the cut marks here. These are the registration marks I was talking about. And you can see that the print area runs into the bleed, so the guillotine is going to cut along these, and you're going to end up exactly as you want. Perfect. That's InDesign. If you do have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments. Give us a ring, email if it's a job you're actually doing at the moment. That's what we're here for, is to help. Okay, so we'll close that one down, and that's InDesign. Okay, let's go back to InDesign. We're going to show it. I'll tell you what, another thing we could do is sometimes you might need to send us an artwork that we can actually edit, and in which case we would suggest package. And what that does is collect up everything that's on the screen used in your artwork, all the links, all the fonts, etc. and so on. You can see it gives you a breakdown. It's going to tell me what it's going to include. All the links, I mean there's none on this one, but if there were images on there, it will collect those. It basically packs it all for you, so you don't have to do any of the hard work. It's brilliant. Click package. It's going to tell you it's going to need to save it, because it always wants to save the final version. Just let it save it first. That's saving it onto your version, and now it's going to say, I'm going to make a folder, and it's going to have my fonts, it's going to have link graphics. So we will do a new folder that we will just do packaged letterhead folder, and you can see on my defaults, because that's the way I go, I already got include a PDF print, and you can see I've chosen PDF X1A. So in this case you're going to get the package, and you're going to get a PDF X1A that we've already set up as well, all in that little folder. It's a brilliant way to do it. If you're only going to do it one way, maybe this way, but if you're just asked for a PDF, use the previous way that I showed you, and click package. It will tell you that copying fonts and so on and so forth is illegal for people to be copying. Absolutely right, they're only used for output. Any fonts that you send to us will be used for your job. Excuse me. They might be saved in your file if your job comes around again, but they're not generally saved on our server, unless your job comes in a lot, and then we will just save them for convenience reasons. So click OK on that, and it will package the whole document into a little folder where we set it with everything that you need. And that is creating a PDF in InDesign, and it's also creating a package in InDesign to send to us or any other print service provider, but obviously us. Right, we shall shut InDesign, and as if by magic we will go to Illustrator, which is another one that is used. Okay, we have exactly the same letterhead in Illustrator. In Illustrator, we would suggest, if you're just sending it to us to print, to avoid any font problems, I would select all the type that you have and go to type, and we do create outlines. And there, type. This will just save any problems with missing fonts, etc. Check by going to view and outline to see if you've done them all. In this case, yes, 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 no. It's a great way to check. If it's not outlined, a little giveaway are these little tiny crosses here and a line underneath the text. Otherwise, it wants to show you the outlines, and when you click on it, you get masses of points. So you can see this one here, we've missed. Do type and create outlines, and you can see, there we go. Go back to how it looks, preview, and you can do save a copy, and make sure you're going into the right folder that you want to save into, and then from format, which is Adobe PDF, make sure if there's more than one pages, it's all applied there. Let's go, just print Illustrator sample letterhead, call it what you like really, just make sure we know the correct file name, and then save. And now we get that same box, very similar looking as PDF X1A, and then we go through the others. View PDF afterwards, we'll open that PDF again. Compression, leave as they are again. Marks and bleeds, exactly the same as the InDesign. So trim marks, registration marks, page information, and bleed. And you can see exactly the same thing set up there in Illustrator. To the output, check that, change that to Euroscale coated. Nothing in advance, remember, nothing in security, and a summary. If you flick all these open, will tell you what you've got. Do save the PDF. And there's a PDF. You can see very similar looking, targets in Illustrator, slightly different, but do the same function, which is to align one plate on top of the other. Okay, so we shut that one down, and that is a PDF in Illustrator. You can as well do file, package, and a similar scenario with the same packaging. I don't want to save that because I have created all the paths, so make sure you go back to your original one. What I will simply do is I'm going to undo all the outlines using Command Z. There we go, and then do preview. So this goes back to the one, because the only reason you'd want to package it to send to us is if there was a chance you wanted us to edit it, in which case we would need the text. It would be no good, because then we could change things in here for you, etc. So you need editable text, and then go to file, and then package, and then yes, it's allowed to be saved. Choose where it's going to go. The easiest option, rather than these paths, is to choose by clicking on that little folder and then choose where you want it to go. We're going to put it into there, and we're going to call this. That's the name of the folder you're going to put it in. So folder. And here you can see it's slightly different, but it does the same thing. Copying the links if there was any images in there. You're going to copy the fonts, and in this case it creates a little report as well, telling ourselves what is used in the document. Click package. There's that same thing telling you about the fonts. Okay, that, and it will say it's created successfully. If you do show package, it will open up and show you. There's the little Illustrator folder. There's that, and any fonts used on there as well. And then literally, I would suggest anything like that, get the whole folder that you're going to send to us on a Mac, right click it and compress the folder, and you create a little archive, and you can see on this particular case 1.4 megabytes, and email that to us. On a PC You can zip it, stuff it, whatever you've got. I'm sure on Windows you can compress as well. It's just that we don't use Windows for design here at Print. We do have lots of Windows machines, obviously, for opening customers' files. Okay, and that's about it. Then email that to us. Check that we've got it, and we'll be in touch. Thank you for watching. I hope that it's helped. Any questions? Do let us know. I do apologise for the poor sound. We are working from home at the moment, so it's a bit muffled, but hopefully the guide was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye on our YouTube channel for the next one.